Okay, mastering hormones and for optimal metabolic health. Hormones are so important. They play a huge role in metabolic health. And when they're depleted and imbalanced, it contributes to poor metabolic health. We all know now how many times I've said it, but stress leads to depleted hormones. Depleted and unbalanced hormones cause more stress. So it's like this cycle. And today we're going to address the hormones that impact your metabolism most. Okay, these are cortisol, our stress hormones, insulin, our fat storing hormone, thyroid and adrenal hormones, and our sex hormones. Okay, those are the hormones that are most important when it comes to improving your metabolic health. We're going to talk about insulin and cortisol. These two hormones play a critical role in metabolism, and until you learn how to balance each of them, your metabolic health will likely suffer. Insulin is the hormone that moves sugar from the bloodstream into the cells to be converted to energy. When insulin becomes a problem is when our cells become resistant to it. And a lot of you here are insulin resistant. It's why you can't lose weight. It's why you don't have any energy. That glucose isn't getting into the cell to give you energy. That's where ATP is created. ATP is energy, cellular energy. Okay, and this causes chronically high blood sugar when our cells don't respond to insulin. And as long as we have these chronically high blood sugars, we're not going to be able to convert these sugars to energy, and we're going to have a slow metabolic rate, okay? Cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, is secreted when the body is under stress. Ever had a surge of adrenaline? That was your body releasing cortisol, okay? When cortisol is high, it increases insulin, and as long as insulin is high, our fat-storing hormone, the metabolism is going to prefer to burn sugar for fuel, unable to tap into fat, resulting in a lack of metabolic flexibility and eventually full-blown metabolic syndrome, which is 90% of the population, okay? So this is why stress is the #1 saboteur of optimal metabolic health. As our bodies respond to our crazy, stressful lifestyles, shuts down digestion, not important for survival, right? It stops fat burning, which also is important for survival, and increases insulin and glucose so that we can have fuel to flee from the threat that our body is perceiving, okay? So these cortisol spikes don't just happen when we have stress. We can all think of a time we were stressed, we felt that release. It's not just when we have mental and emotional stressors, but they actually occur when we get these huge surges in blood sugar, these big swings in blood sugar. Another thing that causes this cortisol spike, poor sleep, skipping meals, chronically restricting calories, over-exercising, obsessing about our bodies, abusing fasting. Stress, both physical and mental and emotional, can impact your blood sugar more so than diet. Okay, that applies to so many of you here today. Why is my blood sugar all over the place? I eat a whole food diet, but I'm just all over and I can't sleep and my schmeck is stress. This is why it is totally possible for someone to eat a clean, balanced diet and have metabolic syndrome. Why does 90%, I actually think it's more like 95%, why does most of our population have metabolic syndrome? Stress. Yes, poor diet and, unmanaged blood sugar, but stress is so common. So if you're here today and you're wanting to improve your metabolic health, you really need to look at stress. We're going to look at that below, but just understand that it's not just food that creates these issues. It's also stress, okay? I cannot underscore the need to manage stress. It's fueling your body regularly, not over fasting, making sure you have a healthy relationship with yourself and your body. Okay, when we think about mastering cortisol, our stress hormone, it's really important to understand that when you hyper focus on your weight, your brain perceives this as a threat. There are so many here today who just really want to lose weight. I have to lose weight. Please help me. I get it. And I know that you're frustrated, and but I also know that that hyper focusing and that desperation is received by the brain and nervous system as a massive threat. Moving the body into survival mode, conserving energy and resources, slowing metabolism, and storing fat. I can't tell you how often I see this. Okay, I've coached thousands and thousands of women through my New You program, which is also a metabolism restoring program. And when women finally understand that their hyper focus on their body and their weight is what's sabotaging all of their efforts, everything changes. And they finally understand that their thoughts, the way that they were trying to go about losing this weight was actually what was causing their body to become stuck in this state of survival and a slow, broken metabolism. So just understand that, you guys. And that's why I keep saying, please keep health number one. If you're just focusing on improving your health, your body's going to feel safe. And when your body feels safe, you're going to release that fat so much easier. You're going to be so much healthier. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about adrenal health and metabolism. Those poor little glands that are overworked on so many of us. When those hormones become depleted, this absolutely contributes to poor metabolic health because it disrupts the body's stress response and hormone balance. Those hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, aldosterone, DHEA, when they become depleted, the body really struggles to regulate metabolism. These hormones play a huge role in being able to regulate our blood pressure, electrolyte balance, our hormone equilibrium, and all of these impact our metabolic health. So if you suspect that you got some degree of adrenal fatigue, which is really common, I suggest really focusing on that and healing the adrenals. Because again, when those hormones are all over the place, metabolism is going to be compromised. Okay, so you can't have a healthy metabolism and have unhealthy adrenals or chronic stress. The two don't go hand in hand. If you're looking for a really clear plan on how to heal your adrenals, my New You program is amazing for that. Okay, and just remember, all of you get 35% off that program. So if that's something that interests you. Okay, we need to talk about sex hormones. These hormones are progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. They also play a really pivotal role in metabolic health. When they become depleted or imbalanced, it negatively impacts our metabolic health, more so than you realize. Progesterone impacts metabolism because it regulates insulin sensitivity. So there's a lot of you here with low progesterone because stress depletes progesterone, and that is compromising your insulin sensitivity, right? And that influences energy expenditure, appetite, fat storage, stress response, and thyroid function. Progesterone is really, really important. Okay, it tells your metabolism what to do, what to burn, and what to store. And it's really common for that one to be depleted because so many of us deal with chronic stress. And when that one becomes low and then estrogen is high due to poor detox, which we'll get into, we become estrogen dominant. And when we're estrogen dominant and we have that imbalance, weight loss is really hard. Having a healthy metabolism, not going to happen. We want to have adequate progesterone so that we have this nice balance between the two. Okay. Estrogen. When estrogen is high and accumulating in the body and it's not being eliminated, this also causes estrogen dominance, right? This imbalance between the two, which again makes weight loss really, really difficult. This is why we're going to talk about detox and liver so that we can make sure that we're eliminating those estrogens. Okay. Managing stress and supporting the liver is critical for metabolic health. Like those two things make all the difference in the world. Testosterone also regulates metabolism by promoting muscle growth and fat metabolism, right? And this influences our insulin sensitivity, right? So when we don't have enough testosterone, we can't build muscle, then we can't use as much glucose. So that plays a significant role in the rate of our metabolism and our ability to keep sugar balanced. Okay. We're going to talk about my notes here. We're going to talk about sex hormones and how and the role they play in metabolic health. I'm going to give you some tips in general that are going to significantly improve the balance and the health of your hormones. Okay. So tip number 1, avoid stressors like intense workouts, chronic meal skipping, too much fasting, poor sleep in week 2. You really want to protect week 2. If you're in week 2, just more self-care. Week 3. I don't want to confuse anyone. Avoiding stressors, intense workouts in week 3. Okay, that's when your body is most sensitive to stress. Protecting yourself from stress in week 3. Number 2, eat foods that increase progesterone. We talked about the importance of that above. In week 3 and week 4, but definitely in week 3, you want to include more foods like sweet potatoes, squash, rice, wild rice, quinoa, beans, pumpkin seeds. All of those healthy starches are going to help to support progesterone. That is going to help so much with your cycle. You want that progesterone to be peaking, okay? And then week 3 is when hormones are most sensitive to stress. So again, prioritizing the self-care at that time. Supporting estrogen detox. 3 to 4 functional medicine liver detoxes each year. If you've never done a liver detox, make sure that you're getting a couple in every year. This is insanely important for the function of your liver. If your liver is sluggish, I'm going to get to that below, your metabolism is going to be compromised, okay? And it's also going to help with estrogen elimination. A lot of the female cancers today that we see, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, those are often caused by poor estrogen detox. When those estrogens build up in the body because our liver is not eliminating them, our chance for those female cancers goes up. So we want to make sure that we are getting those estrogens out of the body, okay? Part of how we do this and support estrogen detox is making sure that we're having bowel movements, 1 to 2 bowel movements every day. We're walking to stimulate our lymphatic system. That helps with elimination. We're drinking enough water, 80 to 100 ounces of water. We're prioritizing fiber in our diet. That helps to carry excess estrogens and toxins out of the body. We're also looking at vegetables like cruciferous vegetables, cabbage, broccoli sprouts. Those are really supportive for the liver. They're really high in nutrients that are going to help bring estrogen out of the body. Okay, we can also consider supplementing with NAC, DIM, and sulforaphane. For those of you that are going, how do I write all this down? Remember, we're going to send you the guidebook. Again, this is not medical advice. These are recommendations that can be really helpful, supporting estrogen detox. Okay, to support and optimize testosterone, we want to make sure we're strength training and eating adequate protein. Those two are really, really important. If we have enough protein to build muscle mass, testosterone is going to be a lot happier, okay? Again, I just want to be clear, none of this is medical advice. It's just some of the ways that you can help support your hormones, okay? There's a lot of you here dealing with hormone issues, and it's always best to work with a skilled practitioner anytime you're supplementing or working on things. But if you don't want to, you can't afford that, you just want to understand how to support detox, research those supplements. See if it's something that might be a good idea for you. Okay, let's talk about menopause quickly before we move on to thyroid health. So if you're in menopause, first and foremost, almost all of this information today applies to you other than the timing your fasting and your workouts and your macros around your cycle because you no longer have one, okay? A lot of you here in menopause are frustrated with your bodies, not feeling your best. So here's what I would do and will do when I'm in menopause, okay? Ideally, yes, you work with a practitioner so you can test your hormones and see where they are so you can best support your body and balance them. Personally, I would be supplementing with DHEA. Okay, that's the mother or youth hormone, and this helps to ease the transition. I would also be making sure that I'm hitting my protein. Really, really important to make that a priority. Also make sure that I'm strength training 3 to 4 days a week, full body, building muscle mass. That's really critical at that age. And then prioritizing liver health and detox. If you're here in menopause, this will change your life. You've accumulated a lot of toxins over the years. When the liver slows down, it regulates the metabolism. Okay, if you want your metabolism to work better, you have to work on improving the function of your liver. Also work on prioritizing the health of your nervous system. You've had a lifetime of stress and trauma, and taking care of these aspects is really going to shift things for you. I work with thousands of women in my New You program in menopause who came in, who were trying everything, who were so frustrated. When you detox, strength train, get adequate protein, and really take care of your nervous system, it is life-changing, okay? If you're looking for a detailed plan on how to do all that, again, check out my New You program, because that's exactly what that is. Okay, we're going to talk about optimizing thyroid function. This is so important for metabolic health. The thyroid regulates the metabolism. So when it's compromised and it's not working well, the metabolism suffers. Poor thyroid function is a widespread issue today. So many people with thyroid autoimmune and low thyroid function. I think I read the other day, it's like 1 in 3 women or something is dealing with a thyroid issue. Stress, inflammation, okay? So adrenal dysfunction can contribute to thyroid issues. So long-term stress, if unaddressed and the adrenals aren't healed, will start to affect the function of the thyroid. And again, when the thyroid isn't working well, because weight loss is so difficult. The thyroid regulates the metabolism, okay? So here's some things you can do today to start improving the health of your thyroid. And there's not a person here who won't benefit, okay? Because so much of our diet and so much of what we're doing is working against the health and the function of our thyroid. Okay, eat thyroid supportive foods. So many of us are deficient in the building blocks of thyroid hormone. This is iodine and selenium. So me personally, what does this look like? I consume a lot of sea vegetables. I really like the Atlantic Cambu seaweed flakes. I'll put those on my salads, on whatever it is that I'm eating. Numami Organics is the brand that I like. It's really important that those are sourced in a good place, tested for heavy metals, really important. Again, this is going to be in the guidebook. You don't have to write all this down. Also, I have Brazil nuts, a couple of them daily, or Brazil nut butter in my smoothies. Brazil nuts are really high in selenium. The thyroid needs selenium. If you are deficient in iodine and selenium, your thyroid function is going to be compromised. Just adding in nutrients and the building blocks for thyroid hormone is insanely helpful. Again, if your thyroid is sluggish, your metabolism is going to be sluggish, okay? There's also thyroid supportive supplements, like Women's Vitality by Ancient Nutrition or a thyroid formula by Gaia Herbs. Okay, not medical advice, just check them out. They have a lot of the nutrients that is lacking in our modern day diets. I can't tell you how many of us are depleted and low in some of these nutrients. So I personally take both of those. And I also test my thyroid and notice a huge difference when I give my body the nutrients it needs, okay? Learn how to express yourself. Now you're probably thinking like, what are we talking? I thought we were talking about thyroid. So research shows that if you're afraid to speak up and you're not expressing yourself, that it blocks the energy in the throat. So many people with low thyroid or thyroid autoimmune have a really hard time expressing themselves, speaking their truth. And when they start to do some of this deeper work and learn how to express themselves, their thyroid issues completely resolve. Okay, never underestimate the power, the connection between the mind and the body. It's really, really powerful. Learning how to express yourself. Eliminating inflammatory foods. Really helpful for the thyroid, right? The gut is very connected to the thyroid. And when we remove inflammatory foods like gluten, sugar, seed oils, dairy for some of you, this lowers inflammation. Gluten is inflammatory, no matter whether you're celiac or intolerant. It has been altered in a way our body does not recognize it. It causes inflammation, proven by science, inflammatory. Some people can eat a little bit of dairy and do okay. I find most do better without dairy. Gluten, dairy, or sugar and haven't been for, maybe 6 or 7 years and feel so much better when I keep those out of my diet. Seed oil, same thing. Super high in omega-6s. When we increase inflammation, thyroid function struggles. It's going to become compromised. So consider removing those inflammatory foods from your diet if you want your thyroid to be working well. Reduce stress. Lowering stress is critical, okay? As cortisol goes up, thyroid function goes down. They work inversely, just like this. Stress goes up, thyroid production, thyroid hormone goes down. That's why managing stress is one of the most impactful things you can do for not only your health in general, but for your thyroid health. Really, really important to understand that.